Hello Pokemon trainers, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video here on iStarly TV. Now of course you'll notice that this is not Scarlet and Violet, but is in fact Legends Arceus, because the video today I'm showing basically a comparison of Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So now with the new Pokemon Home update and the ability to transfer Pokemon from our older games into Scarlet and Violet, meaning of course from Legends Arceus to Scarlet and Violet as well, we can actually transfer alpha Pokemon and they will in some way retain their alpha status in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. That's something I'll show a little bit later in the video once I've transferred these Pokemon over to Scarlet and Violet, but there is a way to tell whether this Pokemon was alpha in Legends Arceus when it's in Scarlet and Violet. But first I wanted to start by showing us in Pokemon Legends Arceus where the alpha status is a lot more clear. Now first of all, I have a few alpha Pokemon in my party, and you can see by the little red icon right here, to the right of their little status screen, I guess, to the right of their level, you can see that little red icon which indicates that they are an alpha Pokemon. And of course with a lot of these you can simply tell just by looking at it. So here I have my beautiful trusty Alpha Scizor, which was one of the Pokemon that I used throughout my playthrough of Legends Arceus, and it's one of my favorite Pokemon in this game. And look at that, that's just absolutely huge. And then if we compare it to a regular Scizor here, now I have a few other Scizors in my box, but look at that right there. Look at that, that is hilarious. This Scizor in particular, I mean, it's about my height, which is funny. This Scizor in particular might be a smaller one because I know I had 3 other Scizors in my box that were not alpha, and I know in the past when I was playing this game I compared all of them, and there were a few that were, like, even the ones that were not alpha had different sizes compared to each other. But either way, you can see right there the very obvious size difference. Now, you know, I will be comparing these in Scarlet and Violet as well, because the really sad thing is there is still size difference in Scarlet and Violet. I think if you catch two of the same species in Scarlet and Violet, they still can have noticeable size differences. However, it's nowhere near this. It's nowhere near this level. So the sad thing is, as you'll see later in the video, once I transfer this amazing Alpha Scizor into my Scarlet and Violet save file, it's not going to be this huge. So really sad. I mean, maybe my character in Scarlet and Violet is just like 8 feet tall, because my character here is probably normal height, maybe like, I mean, it's a kid, so maybe about, I don't know, 5 feet or something like that. I'm just randomly guessing. And this Scizor clearly is almost double my height. So yeah, this Scizor is huge. But again, in actual Scarlet and Violet, it's going to look different. Now I have a few others just to compare, just to keep comparing here. Let's throw Sneasler, which is an alpha, and then a regular Sneasler. And of course, once again, you can notice the size difference. Maybe Scizor. I mean, the funny thing is the regular Scizor is smaller than the regular Sneasler, and then the Alpha Scizor is way bigger than the Alpha Sneasler. So I think even among alphas, there are probably different sizes as well. Like maybe if you catch 2 Alpha Scizors, one of them will be noticeably bigger than the other. I don't know. Either way, I have an Alpha Gudra. Oh, he's sleepy. Can I wake him up? It could be because it's nighttime. There we go. Yeah, so this is a cool one too. I mean, you can tell this Gudra is huge. And then again, I'm going to be transferring all of these to Scarlet and Violet, and we'll see the alpha size. But again, if you look on its summary right here, it is an alpha. Even though it doesn't look that huge. I mean, it is bigger than the Sneasler. And then finally in my party, I do have an Alpha Arcanine that I wanted to show off as well. All of these Pokemon, I wanted to show off these in particular because I have a lot of alphas in this game. But obviously I can't show all, or I don't want to show all of them. It'll take too long. But also I wanted to show some that are legal in Scarlet and Violet that can be transferred to that game as well, so we can compare the size difference. So here we go, Alpha Arcanine, Alpha Gudra, you know, Alpha Sneasler, and of course my Alpha Scizor. This is kind of like my pride and joy because it's just so huge. I don't know what happened to the other guy. Where'd he go? Where did Sizzy go? So yeah, I'm gonna be dropping these back into Home and then into Scarlet and Violet, and again I'll talk about how to tell that they're an alpha, but also we'll look at the sizes of them in that game. And again, maybe it's just that the people in Paldea are just huge. Maybe the people in Paldea are just much bigger than the people in Legends Arceus, and then that's why the alphas don't look as huge in that game. But yeah, let's jump on over to forward in time thousands of years and get on over to the Paldea region. All right, so we are back over in Paldea. We've jumped forward a few hundred years or however many it is. And as you can see, I have some Pokemon. I have some different ones here that I'm going to show off, but basically all of these, except for one of the Sneaslers and one of the Staraptors, are alphas. And so in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the way that you can tell that a Pokemon was an alpha is that it'll actually have a mark. So it'll have this automatically on it. And this is called the alpha mark. And as you can see right there, the title says the former alpha, which is really cool. So basically, when you select this mark, so if you have an alpha Pokemon, you send it to Scarlet and Violet, you go to the summary screen, you go to this page, basically the last page, the ribbon page, and you press A, assign a ribbon or a mark. If that shows up where it says assign a ribbon or mark, that means it has at least one ribbon or mark. And then you press A, and then it'll show you all the marks or ribbons it has, and then you can press A to select it. And if you select it, that means it'll have that title when you send it into battle. So Sneasler, the former alpha. This other Sneasler, of course, does not have a ribbon or mark yet. It doesn't have the alpha mark because it's not an alpha. And then we have the Goodra, the former alpha. And then I have my Staraptor, the former alpha. This Staraptor does have a couple ribbons, but it does not have the alpha ribbon because it's not an alpha. Like I said, if your Pokemon was an alpha in Legends Arceus, it will automatically have that mark when you send it over. So you don't have to do anything. You just have to go to this page and it'll be there if it was an alpha. So with that being said, this game is a little different though, a little awkwardly, where we cannot send out two Pokemon. We cannot send out multiple Pokemon at once. I guess actually one way for us to do that is the picnic. So I'll probably open a picnic in a little bit, but first let's send out, this is my Alpha Sneasler. So, right, I'm pretty sure that's it, right? It sends out the first Pokemon we have, and that's the Alpha. So as you can see, it is nowhere near the same size. Like I said, maybe the people of Paldea are giants, or the people of Legends Arceus are extremely tiny. But remember when I just showed this Sneasler in Legends Arceus, it was huge, right? It was much, much taller than me, and now it is not. Now I am taller than it. Let's go to my next Sneasler so we can kind of compare. And you can see this one is definitely smaller, so I'm a lot taller than this one. I'm about a nose taller than it, or a forehead taller than it. So that just shows right there are still size differences in this game. They're just not quite as noticeable or as big. Let's see my Alpha Goodra. Oh, this one's a pretty good size. This one's pretty hefty. Although again, it's a lot smaller than it was in Paldea, or I mean Hisui. Actually, it's not that much smaller. And of course, if we had another Hisui and Goodra, we could show off the difference. I do actually have a shiny one from Legends Arceus. So let's go ahead and pull that up then. Sorry, I'm just kind of like looking for it. There it is. Okay, there we go. And we'll replace it with the non-alpha Sneasler. So there's the big one. Oh, he goes away. Okay. And then let's throw out the other one. And he's shiny, which is great. It's not that noticeable of a difference though, honestly. So let's see, I go up to maybe his chin. I mean, he's moving around a lot, so it's hard to really know. It's storming, by the way. I'm just like getting soaked out here. In this guy, I am a little bit below I'm definitely lower, so he's definitely taller, although again, it's a little bit harder to tell. And then one last time I have my Alpha Staraptor, which it's going to be harder to tell because it's flying. I guess here it can touch my head with its claws. So that's a decent sized Staraptor. And then if we swap over to the non-alpha, this one does look smaller, although once again, not too much smaller. I don't know. Finally, I have a alpha Hisui and Braviary, which I will send out as well. And again, you know, that one looks decently big, but again, I think it's a little bit disappointing. You know, it's a little bit disappointing, but that's just how these games are. They just don't have that significant of a size difference. Although, again, you can tell the size difference as we saw with my Sneaslers. All right, so now we're going to come over here because we're going to try something else out. So this lady over here, and this is in Mesagosa, if you don't know, she is right directly next to the West Pokemon Center. She's like, if you go to the West Pokemon Center, you'll look and you'll see like these flowers, this little, I don't know, circular area with these flowers and combies, and Pachirisus, and this lady right here with the Pachis, I'm going to call them Pachis. Look how cute they are, and you can tell the one is bigger than the other. If you talk to her, she will evaluate the size of your Pokemon, and you can do this for any Pokemon you've caught, although the chances are really low. If your Pokemon is super, super small, it has to be like the smallest it can possibly be, she will give you the tiny mark, and the title for that will say like the teeny, which is a really cool one, I think. So if you have like a tiny Zorua, it would say go Zorua the teeny. And then if your Pokemon is the absolute largest it can be, she will give you the jumbo mark, which is really cool as well, because when you send that Pokemon into battle, it'll say the Great. So if you have a Ursaluna with the jumbo mark, it'll say Ursaluna the Great, which is a really cool one. I love that. And again, you could have her check every single Pokemon you own, even the ones you caught in Scarlet and Violet. It just takes a little while, and like I said, it's extremely rare. So you could go through all your boxes and all the Pokemon that you've caught throughout Scarlet and Violet and have her evaluate them, but like I said, it's extremely rare that you'll have either of those marks, although there are sandwiches that can boost the odds. You can make a sandwich that, I think it's called the Teeny Power sandwich, and depending on the level of sandwich you make, so if you make a Teeny Power level 3, she will give you, or if you make a Teeny Power level 3, Pokemon you catch will have a higher chance of being super small, and then if you make I'm assuming it's called Jumbo Power sandwich, depending on the level 1 through 3, the Pokemon you encounter will have a higher chance of being super large and having the jumbo mark. So anyways, I'm just going to check the alpha Pokemon I have. As you can see there in the top right of my screen, you see that they have the mark equipped. So the little red Pokemon like monster icon with kind of like the flaming eyes, that's the alpha mark as I showed you. So I'm going to check the ones with the alpha mark and see if all of them are jumbo by default. So let's see. We're going to have her check my Braviary. Oh, okay, cool. So it is. Yeah. So it does get the jumbo mark. So that's really cool. So you kind of get 2 marks for the price of 1 if you have alphas. So if there's any Pokemon in Legends Arceus that also exist in Scarlet and Violet that you can transfer over, and you care about stuff like this with these marks and these titles, this is a really cool thing to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm not going to do that for every alpha I own, but at least the ones in my party I'm going to go ahead and do that for. And I guess I'll show you as well. I'll show you my other Goodra, and I guess I'll just come back for Staraptor later, just so I don't spend too much time on this video doing this. But if you have a Pokemon that's not jumbo or tiny, you can talk to her, and she says something like this: "It's a serious big one," but that doesn't get the mark. So it's a big one. It's just not big enough to warrant getting the mark. All right, so let's just fly over here so I can open a picnic, just so we can kind of directly compare the sizes of these Pokemon. And also I'm going to show you that mark, that title in action. So I'm going to send out a Pokemon with the alpha mark so you can see that it says, go Goodra the alpha. And then also I'm going to go ahead and equip Sneasler with the jumbo mark that it just got. So yeah, it says Sneasler the Great. So that's really cool. So again, it looks like any alpha Pokemon is, I don't know if it's guaranteed to have the jumbo mark, or if it's just an extremely high chance. But again, if there's a way you want to farm these Pokemon, you can go ahead and catch a bunch of alphas in Scarlet and Violet, or I'm sorry, in Legends Arceus. This is hard because my 2 Staraptors are far from each other and my 2 Goodras are far from each other. But I think if we get a decent, if we look over here, you can kind of tell, right? You can tell that, I mean, it's weird because this Goodra is sleeping and then the other one is standing, but maybe if we do this, we can tell. It's pretty cute. The Staraptors just don't want to be near each other. Yeah, you can tell. You can tell that the 2 Goodras are different sizes, and the Staraptors too. I mean, I guess that's probably my perspective because it was really close to me, but I think it is pretty clear that the sizes are different. But as I said, in Legends Arceus, as we saw, the sizes are noticeably different. My Scizor was absolutely huge, and the Sneasler was noticeably different, noticeably larger as well. But in Scarlet and Violet, it's not that big of a difference. But even if you're looking at wild Pokemon, sometimes you will notice that some are bigger than others. All right, so let's send out Sneasler the Great here, just so we can see that mark in action. Yeah, go Sneasler the Great. So that's cool. I know that's a really small aesthetic thing, but I love it. I think it's really cool. I think it adds an extra layer of I don't know, customizability to your Pokemon, and it's just really cool. I just think it's a neat thing. And then I believe this is my Alpha Goodra. because I think the level 81 was the shiny. All right, let's send out Goodra. Yeah, Goodra, the former alpha. There we go. Cool stuff. All right, that's awesome. So there you go. That is the size differences and the differences of alpha Pokemon in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I hope this video helped you out. Hopefully I could offer some decent tips here, regardless of, which part of this video you were interested in. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Please leave a like and subscribe for more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet content. Also, let me know who is your favorite alpha Pokemon that you own. Mine has to be my Scizor, although if I'm being completely honest, I don't know what happened to my Scizor. I either forgot to transfer it or something happened and he's not in my boxes for some reason. But also my close second is my alpha Goodra, who was on my team as well in in Legends Arceus. I keep getting the names mixed up, and he was huge. He was great. I love it. All right, anyways, thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you next time. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day. Talk to you next time.